Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. A few days ago, well, actually more like a week ago now, but anyway, my treasure chest for the day on the Wheel of Poverty was a test drive for 1 hour for the Panzerwerfer42. So here we are. And one of the things I'll gripe real quick about before we get into the actual gameplay here is the test drives. I don't like that they start immediately. It'd be one thing if like they had a 3-day expiration date like everything else you get, the boosts and such, but I don't like that like your 1 hour starts immediately, like because I actually logged in right before I was planning on going to sleep to just get my boost for that day, and it was the test drive, so I was like, well, okay, guess I'm going to sleep an hour later. Anyway, it'd be nice if like you could activate them, because I actually didn't have my microphone plugged in or set up or anything either, so there was no narration to the actual live gameplay here. So I'm narrating this much later, like a week or two. But so initially here it was just fiddling around, fooling with the rockets. I do like the little shock cones behind the rockets. It's kind of neat. But I was just lobbing off all my rockets up the road there to see if I could catch anybody coming out near B. And then, of course, rockets empty. Time to head to the capture zone to reload. And there actually was another Panzerwerfer in this battle with me, so I thought that was kind of random and entertaining. So speed's not too bad. It's basically the same as any other type half-track kind of vehicle in the game, really, as far as speed goes. It wasn't too bad. It was relatively fast, relatively maneuverable, but of course the trade-off was it has basically no armor at all, which you'll see when we get to Berlin, at least. And I get killed by an armored car with machine guns. So there's only 3 crew members in it too, so it's pretty easy to kill, because you only have to, if you kill out 2 of the crew members, the vehicle's done, now that last man standing is gone. So there's that. It's really pretty easy to knock one of these out, and the rockets are not entirely reliable in aim. I'm sure if people had it for longer than the 1 hour test drive I had, they could get pretty good with the rockets. But they drop pretty badly, and there is quite a bit of RNG mixed in with there too, as you'll see on some of my rocket shots. My fellow Panzerwerfer gets a kill here. I do like that it at least comes with artillery, so that's nice. So you at least can save the artillery for self-defense when you're there it is. Anyway, so you can save the artillery for self-defense if you're reloading, or you have another more directly controllable offensive weapon to support your team with. It's definitely a good sit back behind your team's front line and kind of support weapon. And really, it's just entertaining when you get kills with it. So, pretty hilarious. It does have an MG34 on the roof, so you, at least within the frontal, I don't know, maybe looks like about probably 120 degrees of arc total for the machine gun off the front. You can at least hit something and mark it if you need to. The reload time is pretty long. I don't remember what the crew skill is for the loader that I have on here and how much that makes a difference, plus the reload time for the vehicle itself, but it was about 13 seconds per rocket with the crew that I had. I'm just trying to relocate myself here to get around, and like I said there, that guy hit me right through the side and knocked out both of the crew in the cab there, so that's the end of battle 1. But it was a good start. Got a little feel for the vehicle there.
Attention to the map.
So here, I'm just kind of lobbing. I just start lobbing rockets off just to kind of get a feel for the trajectory and to see if I could, mostly trying to see if I could track the rockets like you can in aircraft. After you fire it, you can hold down the track projectile button. Sorry, I had to yawn there. And see where they're going. So that's what I was trying to do here, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. The button on my joystick that I track my bombs or rockets with wasn't working, and holding down the default button to track the rockets wasn't doing it for me either. So if you guys know a way to do it, say so in the comments, but I don't think there is. Which is kind of unfortunate, but then I guess at the same time you could just sit all the way in the back and walk artillery in on targets if you could do that, I guess. So But this wasn't too bad of a spot right here. I couldn't really see any targets. I probably could with binoculars, but you can actually see the rockets impacting. That first one I was hoping I could see where it actually landed, but there's the impact there and throwing the dirt up, so I knew about roughly where my rockets were hitting, and you can actually see them all hit here from this salvo, and even better, one of these rockets actually hit somebody. There it is. Which I thought was hilarious at the time. Like my random rockets lobbed back into there. If I'd have gotten a kill there, I would have probably fallen out of my chair. But then, nice thing about this map, about any battle map with this, except for Berlin really, and I'll show you Berlin, what I'm talking about when we get to the Berlin map, but nice thing about this vehicle, pretty much on a battle map, is you can sit all the way back in your cap and just constantly reload and lob rockets off across the map, which is not the worst thing in the world to do with this tank. It's not really an assaulting, well, not tank, rocket half-track, but not exactly an assaulter kind of vehicle. Not very fast in the reverse, of course, but it's not too bad. So somehow I was not quite in the capture zone here, although you can't actually see where it is.
Attention to the map.
But my initial plan here was to watch for somebody coming down through the castle there, so I fire a test rocket shot once I get a reload. Thanks a lot, phone. Fire a test shot here to get my aim down, and then of course I don't really want to hit my friendly KV-2 there, which would be hilarious, but not really good teamwork.
Attention to the designated grid zone.
So now that was just a completely lob into their back zone and see if I accidentally hit anything kind of shot there. Kind of a waste, but... So now that the KV-2 is up there covering that approach, I'm going to try and adjust my aim onto this spot right here where they can come down on the side of the castle. So that's what I'm watching now.
We have taken the initiative.
Gets a little boring here while I'm reloading and waiting for people, but can always fire artillery off.
Roger that. Artillery, fire.
So here I'm trying to put rockets over the top of the castle wall there and drop them just up there on top of the hill where the capture point usually is, but I ran out of rockets. Almost dropped. The first one was a little high. The second one almost dropped right over the top of the castle where I wanted it to, but I think the guy up on top of there had been destroyed already, so it didn't really matter anyway. So this is over there to the right where I was just looking is usually a pretty good spot for guys coming up in the hills there, looking down onto where that AAA is getting lit up over there where our guys are. Also, I kind of like the idea of basically being hulled down with this effectively in reverse and having just the rocket turret appear over the top of this dirt mound here and being somewhat protected from counterfire, which mostly worked, but you'll see a couple of the random RNG shots that I had here actually hit that dirt wall right in front of me, which doesn't really seem like it should be possible from the aim point I had. So that first one went way farther, and then I aim higher and the rocket hits immediately below me right there. So I don't know, that was kind of a ridiculous example right there. So that rocket at this aim point shoots well long, and then this rocket, with another 5 to 10 degrees higher, hits the dirt again. So just inexplicable to me how those are doing that, but you end up having to aim so much higher just to make sure you don't hit the dirt mound in front of you from a random number generator roll, but it's good to stay. And there's another one. I mean, aiming up above those trees and it hits that dirt mound right there.
Attention to the map.
I don't know.
Roger that. Fire.
It's definitely an enjoyable vehicle to drive. It's very fun. It was a very fun test drive. I was laughing like a loon for half of it with the
Enemy forces have captured
the noise of the Panzerwerfer rockets is just hysterical. That hit was with artillery, not with any rocket launch, unfortunately. The reload time does take a while. With only 10 rockets, you got to be a little careful of how hard you spam them off if you don't have a direct target to support. Because the reload time will take a while, and you're pretty vulnerable in this vehicle, period, but especially when you're sitting still in a reload point. I know it's probably a balance kind of thing, but you'll see, I forget exactly which battle it is, but one of the battles, well, the last battle at least, I have a good long X-ray view of this, and you can see where there are obviously rocket reload storage racks in the inside of the vehicle, because, of course, I mean, it's not really practical for this thing to only have 10 rounds in real life. Even if it sits well back from the battle and fires lob artillery in on a big arc, still not practical to not have any internal reloads. And you can see there's racks inside on the sides of the cargo compartment back in the vehicle where there obviously should be rocket reloads, but you don't get any in the game, which is, I don't know. I mean, I think you could have maybe 5 of them. But, whatever. So just kind of fooling around looking for targets here. Making sure nobody's sneaking up on us from the side.
The gun crew
Really
is
just
ready.
searching for anything here.
Requesting for artillery fire. Roger that. Confirming fire.
It was a relatively even battle here, so nobody particularly pushed into the enemy's territory at any point, really, initially, for a good long while here. There's a lot of kind of static line fighting, which is good. I mean, that was definitely good for the test drive. And then this P-51 spots me here, which ends up being trouble.
The target hasn't been hit.
So I get the idea in my head that perhaps an anti-air rocket kill would be hilarious right here. So trying to get, also just moving a little bit out of cover to throw off his aim again in case he's coming back down to aim at the same point. And an M19 starts hitting me, hits me in the rocket launcher, and knocks the rocket launcher out. But thankfully, before I could even call for help, that T-34-85 saw him and knocked him out, because I was pretty much done. Between the broken track and the knocked out rocket.
Roger that.
It's about to be over. So I'm now trying to get my rockets around and aimed up at this P-51 and get my MG-34 up, but it's just not. The MG-34 does not have any kind of... Okay, that wasn't the P-51 that killed me. Alright, but yeah. So that was okay. Berlin. This was a very fun match. So I was really happy. I was really happy to see Berlin when Berlin came up on the game feed because of the obvious positions over there by the Reichstag. You know there's going to be contact over by the Reichstag. There is always somebody over at that corner. The only thing that was a problem was going to be that the capture zones for reloading are not in a good spot on this map. So, rolling on over to cover the corner of the Reichstag, behind cover from over here. It's almost an ideal place for the Panzerwerfer. With the total exception of once the rockets are gone, it's very difficult to reload on this map. So there's the shot up there. I've already seen there's enemy in position where I was planning on looking. So get the Panzerwerfer into position here where I can duck back around cover quick. Get lined up. And then this happened. Walk the shots in. And we'll get a reverse angle replay here. That's the killing rocket right there. And then a zoom in.
Double kill!
And I put a couple more, the rest of my rockets down there just to see if anybody else was behind them. But yeah, I was dying laughing after that. Test drive success. I tried to get a replay of the rocket coming directly into the center of the screen. There's my last 2 rockets, and now I've got to head for the reload, which I already knew was going to be a dicey proposition at best. But I tried to get a replay of the rocket, the killing rocket that came into them from their perspective coming straight into the middle of the screen, but it was really hard to get it lined up. And with the total lack of a rewind function on the replay system, I eventually just gave up. So there's somebody already in our capping. So I've got no choice. I've got to charge in there and try to knock the guy out somehow, or at least bring the team's attention to it so that I can get some reloads. Otherwise, this vehicle is completely worthless.
Defend the A point. Yes, a hit. Attention to the designated grid zone. On target.
Also, I didn't keep any of the end screen results for any of these battles because with the test drive only being an hour long, I wanted to get as much gameplay footage as I could of the Panzerwerfer42 rather than sit and wait in a battle just to get the end screen results. So no end screen results for this match. Probably won't ever get them for a test drive. So driving up to our cap here, I've got no idea what's in our cap. Nobody from our team is paying any attention to our cap being taken. Some of them at least are capping the other point. But I don't even see what's there until it's way too late. And it's actually a T-17E2 with 50 cal machine guns actually totally knocks my crew out with a single shot right through the engine there. So for battle number 4, we got jungle, and I took a picture here just because this was making me laugh that like a Panzerwerfer with 10 rockets on it and a box tank coming at the same time. Like, oh my god, what a nightmare for the enemy team that's going to be. The 2 of us could hold this bridge up here indefinitely almost until I run out of ammo and have to run away. But you can just imagine a Panzerwerfer42 and a Su-100Y working together. Rockets when the Su-100 fires off his shots and runs out and is reloading. Oh my god. What a nightmare that would be for holding a road. Any one of the bridges up here on this map. It's not the fastest vehicle, but it's definitely not the slowest. I mean, it's got the same T-26 tank sounds that the default. It seems like every default tank gets these engine and track sounds until they come up with something better for it. So I decided to back the half-track in rockets first here, so I could direct fire at anything that came up this way. And it's a good idea, but you're going to want to do it a little closer to where the battle is going to be, just because it is not fast in reverse. It's faster than a Comet tank is, or a Comet or a Cromwell or a Panther or anything, because it gets up to 5 miles an hour in reverse rather than 1 or 2, but that's still not really fast. And who knows how many enemies could have made it around that corner and up onto the hill there by the time I got to where I could see them. None of them did, I don't think, but they could have if they were going this way, going faster. Now, how can I resist? Pretty good spray damage there, but didn't get anything critical to stop him moving. Now this one, you can actually see, this is a good example of just how far the shrapnel damage is on these rockets, because watch where the rocket actually hits compared to where kill is. So pretty good explosive shrapnel radius there. And pretty funny. Pretty funny to get any kind of kill with the rockets on this thing. So I can hear shooting going on over here off to my left as I'm backing up. my right from the perspective of the driver, but left side as we're traveling. So we'll watch that a long time. Now I can see these guys coming. I wasn't sure if these were AI or players. I was pretty sure they were AI since they weren't moving, but still worth. Wanted to see what a rocket could do if it hit a Sherman right dead on in the front armor. And I've already taken a hit from the side there, which knocked me down to 2 crew members, and I actually got killed during the kill here. Got knocked out right as I knocked out that Sherman, so. Alright, so the next thing was the respawn. Second spawn out of here, and decided not to go back that way exactly, but to head more towards our capture point there at B, and sit in there and just kind of lob some shells off from the back rear area in support of the team. And this is somebody who's just looking for trouble in the chat there, which I was really proud because nobody really encouraged him. One guy does, but then he doesn't answer back, so. So, cross-country wise, mobility isn't too bad. It made it up that hill right there with a bit of a slowdown, but not too bad. I wouldn't take it over anything that I didn't trust any other tank to get up, of course. But it moved pretty reasonably well. So trying to get down here into up to where our capture point is at B, to sit in the little kind of depression area where the capture point is and fire some rockets from more or less a defilade position. See, I get some counter-fire back here pretty quickly. Somebody saw me, but of course tracers work both directions, so he gave his position away. I don't hit him, but gave me a much better idea of where to fire. And lobbed all my rockets off and didn't get any kind of hit or anything, but there's so many places where you can have a hull down position or whatever, be behind a rock or a tree there. So, settle down into the point, start reloading, kind of start watching for any targets to make themselves apparent. And I noticed on the map, one of our guys spawned and then got killed right away. So, while his team is losing his capture point, he's camping in our spawn trying to get kills. Just, ugh.
Attention to the map!
Nothing like trying to get kills at the expense of your team winning the battle. But sitting here reloading, perfect time to type while you're waiting for your crew to reload these big ol' rockets in the rocket tubes here. So there's our guys. Our guys are safely in the capture point. And somehow here I accidentally hit my motion button, but didn't actually stop my reload on that rocket. Not sure exactly how I pulled that one off. So, happened to notice an airplane up there in the sky and thought to myself, well, let's get us some Mobile SAM. Mobile AAA going here. More like Mobile SAR, because it's a surface-to-air rocket. And right as I fired the lead shot, he goes into a dive, because it's a BTD. And unfortunately here, when he got behind those palm trees, I didn't see what angle he took, because he basically... I had my rockets in a great position where I could have probably turned and got an aim at him, but... can't react quickly with these rockets. I actually had them more or less pointed. Now, those shots off onto those mountains there, I was planning on getting a replay from the top of the mountain of the rocket coming in, but it was too hard to see what the rocket was doing, so pretty much done for right there with the Cromwell, but between the Cromwell and then the BTD's cannons, that was it for that spawn. Now this was the most fun and probably best all-around battle that happened with the Panzerwerfer 42, and here's where I did a little bit of an X-ray here driving up, so be able to see that pretty well. I did like too. This was neat from a historical standpoint. Besides that Panzer F4 in front of me there, pocket sand. When you look back behind me, there's another Panzer IV and a Martyr, and they're between all of them and myself. We're actually all in the yellow Africa Corps color camouflage paint, and we're in the desert map. So that's pretty neat, right there. Like, wow, it's almost an immersive experience. All right, so this is where I thought to myself, I don't think I've really done an X-ray of this thing yet. So there you go. You can see the rocket racks that I was talking about in the other battle. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 rocket reloads for space there in the racks along the inner walls of the vehicle, so enough for at least one full reload. But nope. So, just making my way to A here. Travel time is a bitch for everybody. The pocket sand did a really good job of keeping them occupied over there, which actually definitely saved me, because the slow movement of this tank right here. There's just some ahead of time prep fire there, trying to catch any of their team who's heading for A. And actually take a hit here that doesn't somehow do any damage. I don't know how that happened. But we'll see him shoot again right there. You can actually see where the shot came from. And it's that guy who's getting marked up there, so.
Attention to the map.
I'm pretty sure that's what hit me. But somehow my armor actually shrugged it off. Very surprisingly. So the Martyr is just behind me, and we're going to both head directly for A for the cap. And we were two relatively decent vehicles for holding the capture point, too. Fairly well suited to that task. So my plan here was that open tunnel through the bottom of the castle wall there, just beyond the capture point. My plan was to capture the point and then set myself up so that I could drive into that capture point with the rockets pointing back outwards, and then have a little bit of a kind of a trapdoor spider trap set up with this thing. It doesn't ever actually come into play, but you can see me set myself up for it here in a second. So this, the approach to this capture on this conquest map is actually really convenient. There's a few different ways they can come from, but you can really see everything coming over the top of that ridge pretty easily from here.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
So here's where I'll line myself up with the tunnel here. And just as I turned around, somebody came over the top of the ridge. The Martyrs hit him already. So rather than get myself all lined up, I'm just going to turn my back towards him and watch this. Excellent when you can walk the rockets in on a target. I actually hit him directly. Here's the reverse angle in all of its glory. Pretty hilarious. Alright, so pocket sand, bless him, gives us a warning. That's some good teamwork right there. Even just chatting to your team and letting them know that somebody's coming is helpful teamwork. So I appreciate that. So finishing lining myself up with the tunnel here so that if I have to fire my rockets empty and I don't get whatever's killing us, I can just duck into the tunnel. Now here, I don't get any good hits or damage on this guy, but I sure as heck kept him from being able to see us to shoot at us with these rockets, so. Even if you can't actually damage an opponent sometimes, you can definitely mess up his view with all the dirt and sand and dust and smoke these rockets throw up. Definitely effective as a distraction, if nothing else. So I heard the Martyr take the hit there, and I can see where it's coming from. And look at this, more communicating. Instead of just dying and quitting out of the battle, he tells me what's going on. Turns out it's a Cromwell, or not a Cromwell, a Churchill coming. Somehow he missed me there, or he may have shot right through the empty rocket tube, I'm not sure. But I'm not in the best of positions here, having to basically wait 13 seconds in between every shot and reload. Actually hit him directly there, but unfortunately it was an angle off his front armor and it didn't do a lot of damage or knock his gun out. But just the same. Here's the replay. Now Jonesy up there on the hill comes to my rescue here, quite ably. That rocket was just barely over the top of him. I would love to have seen that one hit and see how much damage it did. But before I have the chance to reload, Panzerwerfer42 reload is superior, and that's that. Quite pleased. I don't care that I didn't get the kill. I'm more happy that somebody else did and I'm still alive here. So, back to just sweeping back and forth. We pretty much got them hemmed in at their spawn now. So, I wasn't expecting too much more action up here at the point. But there will be some. So I'm just kind of fiddling with the rockets and just lobbing them off just because I kind of thought, well, this battle's over. We've got them trapped at their spawn. Nothing else is going to happen. And I knew the hour was getting close for the end of the test drive. I thought I was going to be able to get one more battle in after this, but it had expired during... My test drive actually expires during this battle, so... Not bad. 5 battles in an hour isn't too bad at all, really. So those rockets, I was trying to just fire them just over the top of the castle wall and see if they were hitting anywhere near our team. But I think they were probably launching well beyond where any of our guys were. And if any of them did see or hear the rockets coming in, they don't say anything. So I really don't know how far the rockets actually travel. Without the benefit of some really in-depth replay study, which I really didn't want to do, it's hard to tell where exactly the rockets are, how far these rockets can travel, and where they're hitting. Ideally, if you could have somebody else in a small, fast tank like the Panzer2H or something that can get way up ahead and actually observe where your rockets are hitting and walk your rockets in, kind of like an artillery spotter, that'd be great. But most of the time you're not going to get that kind of a. So here, I wanted to see if he could hear them, and I also wanted to set it up for the replay. And you'll see here in the replay, they really don't make any sound coming over your head. It's too bad, because it'd be funny. Really quiet as they go by. But, yep. That's the Cromwell, the guy from the Cromwell that I killed earlier. Comes back in the armored car. Finds me still in the same spot. The armor piercing 20 mil cannons there. Yep. All you gotta do is take out 2 crew and that's it. But I had another respawn. Might as well use it. That's what the test drive is for after all.
The artillery is ready. Roger that. Artillery, fire!
Attention to the map! Attention to the map!
So the last guy I just spotted there was the M4A1 that Jonesy just killed, so he was out. And I'm not sure what happened with the armored car, but he had to have been knocked out while I was in the respawn screen or something. because he's not there anymore. I didn't see him. I didn't see any kill notifications on him, but it has to have happened right as I was respawning. So you're not going to get back to the battle particularly quickly if you get killed out in this and have the chance for a respawn, or if it's your second or third spawn or whatever, but it gets there. It's not too bad. I was really hoping that was a hostile plane there, because I really wanted a surface-to-air kill with the rockets for this video, but just not the easiest thing to pull off if you had this thing permanently, much less with a 1 hour window to drive it. Because somehow, somebody on the enemy team has to get enough points to come back in airplanes, and you have to somehow live long enough, survive long enough in the, in this under-armored little gigantic target.
Attack the A point.
So I was intending to come up over the top of the hill here and just launch all 10 rockets into the point. But our guys knocked it out,
Requesting for artillery fire.
which saved me the rockets, so that was fine. Again, nothing but friendly air up, sadly. Nothing for me to launch rockets at. Because even if it didn't hit, I could just imagine how funny that would look from either the third person view for mouse and keyboard controls, or from an internal cockpit or artificial horizon view. I could just imagine how funny that rocket would look coming up at your plane. And what a oh my god moment that would be. I don't know that I would actually buy this vehicle specifically. Maybe if I could get it out of War Bonds achievements or something, I would try for it then. I don't know that I would actually buy it, but it was fun to drive for the hour that I had it. So at this point, I'm pretty sure that it's not going to matter what else is happening. We just captured it back. They've got almost no tickets left. So, save the rockets for a minute, but just in case anybody came up over the horizon, but pretty much just in a second, just touch them all off just for the sake of how funny it is to... And I wish I had saved one, because it would have been really funny to touch one into this T-34 from point blank range and see what kind of damage I would get. But thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my test drive.